Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the live. I'm glad that you're back. If you are watching the replay, make sure you say hey down below. It's so good to see you guys on this beautiful Monday, this moon day. So today we're going to be talking about self-actualization in marriage. So if you guys don't know what self-actualization is, it's the highest form of living, the highest frequency of living. And this is becoming more of who you see yourself as in this lifetime. So, this topic is very important to me because through the research that I've been doing and been presenting on this channel for you guys, I have been seeing a lot of problems not only stem from communication in itself when it comes to marriage, but autonomy. Individuals not being autonomous and not being able to self-actualize in a way where they feel happy for themselves. A lot of women seem to lose themselves in marriage and in motherhood, and sometimes even fathers say that they lose themselves in being a husband and being a father. So this topic is especially important to me because identity is very important, in order to become more of who you want to be in this lifetime. So we're going to talk about that today. I'm going to put a question up for you guys. Are you afraid to lose yourself in a relationship? Let's see, is YouTube acting up today? It's acting up, y'all. It's acting up, y'all. Let's try it again. No? Okay. Yeah, it won't even allow me to ask a question today. Let me see if I can do it on my computer. That's so weird. Please, YouTube, stop playing with me. Please, YouTube, don't do this to me anymore. How are you guys doing today? Hey, John, how are you, friend? So I was going to put a question up, but YouTube, I don't know. It's not letting me put the question up. It's not bringing it up. I don't know. YouTube needs to look at that. Because what's going on? Hey, Allah. Allah. Where we at? Hi, Dark. Hello, hello, hello. John, I'm having an okay day. I'm having an okay day. Good morning. It's like a piece of my hair is in my eye, but I don't know. Oh, here it is. There it is. Oh, my God. I'm trying to find this so I can try to post a question, but I don't know if I can do it. I don't think I can find it on my computer. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? Make sure y'all like the live, y'all. Good morning to all of my people who is in India. You like all of my features? Okay, well, thank you so much. Make sure you double tap. Double tap. We're going to be having a good conversation today. If you guys are married or you guys want to be married one day, this is a conversation for you because a lot of people lose themselves in their marriage, and that's not okay. That is not okay. What products do I use? Blue Magic. This is not sponsored. I am African American, or as they say, Black American. Shine and Gem. You hear it? It bounces. It bounces. Do you hear it? My favorite gel. Extreme. And there's a lot more, but I can't go through a whole hair story today. So howdy. Hey, Asha Mahad. Hey, how are you doing? Hi, Firefly. Hello, hello, hello. Make sure y'all double tap the live, y'all. We're about to get started in just a second. So, no question for today, I guess. I guess no question for today. I'm so sad because I really wanted to put a question up, but it's just not gonna work. There's this. Oh, I think I can do it. There we go. I can do it on the computer. Yay, I'm so happy. Okay. Nope. Hey, JJ. Okay. Today. Okay, so I just let me know if y'all see it because I did it on my computer and I've never done it from my computer before. You don't need a ring to be married. Well, either way, I will probably have a ring if I was married. So I'm not married, y'all. I don't think I would be. It's modern day. It's 2025. Everybody else got a ring. Why not me? You know? I do live in the matrix. And sometimes I adjust pretty well. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Hey, moving forward, how are you? No, my DMs are not open, but I am doing a Q&A. So if you guys want to ask me any question anonymously, you can go to my community tab. I have a link where I ask you guys to ask me anything. You just click on the link. You can ask me any question anonymously. So yes, make sure you guys like and comment. Shane, hi Shane. How are you? Okay, there we go. We got 10 votes already, y'all. That was quick. So most people say, I don't know. Interesting. That's the first time I don't know has ever been the most. Wow. That is the first time I've ever seen I don't know be the most. Interesting. Anywho, before we get started, y'all tell me, how's y'all day going? I think I'm going to start doing the Q&A on my computer now because I like how it is on my phone screen. Hey, Jay. Oh, is that JJ? Jason is JJ. Only afraid of losing my money again. Again? Oh, my. Again? How much did you lose? Much better seeing me. Okay, I'm glad I can make it a better. Thank you, thank you. It's been a long day. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Everybody's voting though, so I appreciate everybody who's voting. And still, I don't know what's the highest. So interesting. 250,000 on lawyer fees. Ooh, sorry for you, buddy. I'm sorry. How do I feel? Hey, Bruce. I'm feeling well today. I had a good day. Overall, it was a good day because I got the things I wanted to do done. In regards to like novelty or anything new making me excited, no, nothing really just popped out and made me like excited. But it was just a regular day. Y'all ever just feel like, okay, nothing, it's just a regular day. Regular day, I did something that I needed to do on my to-do list and went about my business. You're married for 21 years and still going? Congratulations to you. Praise to have a prosperous marriage. Hey, golden boy, how are you? Make sure y'all like the live. We're about to get started. And we're going to start off with this image. We're going to start out with this image, y'all. Don't mind it being bent up and stuff because I literally, it just be sitting next to me. So we're going to start with this image and I'm going to explain what does this have to do with the topic? Y'all like, girl, what is you showing us? I'm like, girl, I'm about to show you. It has something to do with the topic. I'm about to tell you. I'm about to tell you. Don't stress. Don't stress out. Hello, Daniel. Okay. Okay, well, interesting. It's all about the respect and trust. Ooh, we got some advice in the chat, y'all. Mitosis. Okay, okay, okay. Not quite. I don't know. Not quite talking about mitosis today when it comes to the cells. Not in the biological way. Good morning, Phil. Okay. So, y'all ready? Because we're at the 10-minute mark. So today we're going to be talking about marriage and self-actualization. We're going to be talking about marriage and self-actualization today. So if you don't know what self-actualization is, again, it's the highest form of living, in my opinion. I don't think anybody has stated this, because you get the highest state of being, like peace and all those things. But to me, when you look at life, if you can be in a self-actualized point of view, or living in a self-actualized state, you're going to be peaceful, honestly. Bye. So you're going to be peaceful, right? Hold up. Hold up. What's going on this computer? I mean, on this phone. Hold up. I don't know. My phone not letting me do stuff today. Okay. So you being self-actualized basically means that you're becoming more of what you want to be. And let me give you an example, because I was just writing the other day, and I like to write about the state of being that I'm wanting to manifest for myself. And I realized one of the things that that I am wanting to feel right now is things realized, right? So when you realize something, right? But if you know anything about manifestation, realizing something, it's manifesting something. It's you realizing at a point that you are in a moment of your life that you once wanted to be in. So, for example, and I like to use this one because it's so physical. I once wanted to be surrounded by greenery, and I once wanted to work at a particular place. So what I used to do is I used to visualize and affirm it. I used to visualize and affirm. And then once I got to that point, I one day was at work and looked around and realized, oh, I'm exactly where I wanted to be. So when I say self-actualization, think about you being at a point in your life where you look back and you say, I am exactly where I wanted to be. Okay, okay. Shukri said her last advice is never get married to a man who you love more than he loves you. Yes. Thank you, guys. So when you think about being self-actualized, and I hope that term doesn't go over anybody's head. And I say that because at one point, terms like this used to go over my head. So when you think about being self-actualized, just think about the fact that I am exactly who I want to be. I work the job I want to work at. I have the lifestyle that I want to live. I have the amount of kids that I want to have. I've traveled to the places that I want to travel to, and if I want to, I can go there if I want to. I am exactly who I want to be. So the problem when it comes to marriage is that so many people get in this spousal relationship, and then they start to lose their own idea of themselves and being autonomous. Moving forward, you said, huh? What you mean, huh? What, you confused on my love? Hey, Camden. So let me tell you where this image comes in to play. So when you see this image, you see cells, tissue, organ system, organism. So basically what this is saying is that these things, cells pair together to make tissue. Tissue pairs together to make organs. Organs come together to create an organ system. And an organ system comes together to make an organism. In this case, we're talking about human beings. As a whole human being, you are a whole organism, right? And you are made up of trillion of cells that are born and they die again. So when you compare that to real life, because another motto that I live by is as above, so below, you compare that to real life, you can compare one cell to one human organism, right? To one human organism. We starting from the top. I hope it doesn't confuse y'all, right? So we can compare it to one human. When humans come together, they create families, oftentimes through marriage, but it doesn't have to be just through marriage. But humans come together, create families that create neighborhoods. Neighborhoods create cities and towns. Cities and towns create nations and civilizations create global network of people. So when you think of marriage, a lot of people lose themselves in it because they forget that marriage is an institution created at this point, modern day, to support patriarchy. But we're not going to get on it because things are shifting, things are changing all the time. And so when you think about who you are as an individual, each cell is its own living being. Hey, Andrew, is its own living being outside of pairing up. And it has to, by itself, become different from every other cell to figure out where it wants to be, right? And we're not going to go too deep in it, right? So you have different types of cells. You have stem cells, you have heart cells, you have brain cells. Each cell becomes different. And if it didn't become different, it wouldn't know how to pair up and create community. The cell will not know how to pair up to create community. So the importance of me showing you this is to say that you are no different than a cell. Everything that a cell can do, you do yourself, right? In the same way that a cell pairs up to create community, to create a higher being, a larger system of living, we do the same thing. And that's one of the reasons why marriage is so important. Although legally and historically it looks very dull as to why we should do these things, it makes sense in the long term when you look at what marriage does for communities, what marriage does for the people around the married people. When you have two autonomous beings who become different and know who they are and they self-actualize, they know who to pair up with, they know what to be around, they know how to come together to create a larger system that supports the overall structure of the life that we live. Which degree do I have? I study speech language pathology. I have a bachelor's degree, and I am pursuing my master's at the moment in speech language pathology. Thank you, Firefly. Hey, Rico. Okay, shout out to Andrew, said he's sitting in the pool. Love that for you. If two are together, they should be together to build to the end of time, not counting the days. Yeah, people shouldn't be waiting to die. Marriage should not be tolerated, yes. People should not be married to people waiting to die. And that's one thing that I'm going to discuss when I have my conversation of reasons why you should not get married. And one of those reasons is if you do not enjoy life and you don't want to create more life. And that does not mean just having children, but just creating life with another individual. Co-creation, yes. So that's why I wanted to show y'all this image first, so you guys can have an idea of where we're starting at with this conversation and why it's so important to be self-actualized. Because self-actualized people oftentimes create a better society. There is a list of people who were determined to be self-actualized. We don't know these people personally, so we can't really say. But some of those people on that list is like Abraham Lincoln. Who else was on that list? Albert Einstein. So oftentimes self-actualized people unintentionally become leaders, and they create for the environment, for their environment. They bring their environment like 10 years ahead of its time. If it wasn't for Albert Einstein, what would we be today? So when we have people who are married, we need two individual people who are self-actualized and autonomous to grow together. So some of the more important similarities to a cell and human beings who are self-actualized is that they grow to their full potential. And like I was giving you that example earlier about manifestation and having manifestations realized at a moment when you're like, oh my God, I'm actually exactly where I wanted to be. Exactly where I manifested, however long ago. That's the same way that sales can they can grow into their full potential, grow into their talents, whoever they're supposed to be in this lifetime. If they're supposed to be aiding in, creating veins in your system, that's exactly what the cells are going to do. Same way for a human being. If a human being really enjoys, being a lawyer, and they go and they do that, they are now aiding in a system that supports our society. You working on this right now? Unfortunately, I didn't have food stamps. I wish I did. Craig. Hey, Craig. What 10 years we had? If you do, you do. If you know, you know. Yeah. And I mean, life is not just about creating kids. There's so many the other things that you can create with your partner other than kids. Hey, Mimi's World. Hey, baby. So another thing that self-actualized people have that is similar to sales is boundaries. Everybody needs boundaries because boundaries is what distinguishes me from you. This is mine, this is yours. And if you can distinguish what's yours that keeps you alive and going and motivated and happy and loving and caring, all those things that keeps you at your highest self, that is what's going to support you in self-actualizing. If you don't have boundaries, then you will be subjected to whatever is happening around you, right? So you want to have boundaries the same way that a cell has a membrane. Cells have membranes around it that decides what comes in and comes out. You need the same thing so that you can be able to know who you are, know where you should go. And I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know one of my allergies is that my eyes will literally start like crying. So, sorry, y'all. If y'all see me doing this, it's because my eyes are crying. I'm not sad. But another thing that self-actualized people can do, that sales do, is integrate and collaborate with others without losing themselves. You are still an individual being inside a large system. The same way that cells come together to create tissue, again, cells come together to create tissue, humans come together to create communities. Don't ever let anybody feel like they can play with you. Y'all know a funny story about letting people play with you? I'm going to tell y'all this story, y'all. Okay. But let me finish this before I tell you the story. Okay, so another thing that self-actualized people can do is communicate. Communication is key. The same way that cells communicate, right? It's not the same way verbally like as we do, but it's a different type of chemical communication that is occurring. Firefly said family that leads to community, that leads to society, that leads to nations, that leads to empires and kingdoms. 100. So, human beings communicate non-verbally, verbally, in so many other ways that humans communicate. Cells communicate through chemical change, hormonal change. Neurotransmitters exchange information about who it is, what's going on. That's how you know that sometimes, you put another person's cells in somebody else's, the body starts to attack it because it's communicating, you are not like me, right? And so another thing that it does is continuous renewal. So human beings can renew it themselves, become a new person. We are dying to ourselves every day, the same way that millions of cells are dying within us. And I don't know if that number is right, but cells are dying within us every day, and new cells are being born every day. Human beings are literally recreating themselves every day. So your identity is slowly shifting as time passes, whether you realize it or not. And cells do the same thing. They regenerate. They have apoptosis. So cells release what no longer serves them so new ones can form. We get rid of what's no longer serving us so we can become a new version of us that's happier and healthier every day. And the last thing that cells do that's similar to humans is they have homeostasis. So cells adjust to temperature. They adjust to nutrients and stress so that they can maintain a form of balance. And humans do the same thing every day. But they also have environmental harmony. that adapts to their external change. So we're constantly adapting. When you go outside, your body is doing the work. Like, let's say it's getting cold outside, your body, if you don't go outside with a jacket on, your body is going to find some way to make your skin warmer to adjust to going outside. Doesn't make that change how cold it is. It's just saying that your body's going to work to maintain some type of balance. So again, as above, so below. We are one human being, and if we can do our best to be our best versions of this self, whether single or married, we can create a solid structure in this society that builds upon itself. And as it builds upon itself, it begins to change. So we gotta start focusing on more of ourselves and start blaming the outer society about what's going on, in the world all the time, right? We got to pull it back to ourselves sometime. As above, so below. I'll give you the exact definition, but I love that phrase because they use it in regards to astrology or regards to what's going on in the solar system. But as above, so below means that there's a correlation. Let me just give you the exact definition. As above, so below. So there's a correspondence between different levels of existence, such as the macrocosm and the microcosm. So there's a correlation of the universe to an individual human. And in the same way as a human, your cells is the health of your cells, the state of being for your cells is a direct correlation to who you are and how you live. You into astrology too, Andrew? Okay. So, y'all, I'm over here I feel like I'm going 100 miles per hour, y'all. So I need to catch my breath a little bit. How y'all feeling so far? You love that principle too? Yes. Firefly said law of correspondence. Firefly, you own it, friend. With the old and with the new, yes. Okay. You said slow down. Sorry, y'all. Just turning the computer off. Yeah, slow down. It's like when you have so much information in your mind, it just go by. So let me slow down, y'all. Shout out to India. What lip liner is that? Is this brand? Actually, if you look, did I link it? Look at my links. I might have it linked. I don't know for sure. Hello, you go like what? What you mean? But it's this brand. I have so many lip liners, you'll never know. I use 8 lip liners for this one lip, so. Hey, let's do this. Hello. So that is that first part that I really wanted y'all to understand before we got into the marriage conversation. Because I feel like marriage was intended for a good reason, but a lot of times intentions does not mean that it's done the right way, right? And I can say that looking into the history of marriage, it does not look like it 100% served everybody, because in a way it took away the autonomy of certain individuals, i.e. most of the time women. So we want to focus on one of the most important things in life, which is self-actualization. And you can only self-actualize when you have autonomy, right? So let's focus on that. So again, self-actualization is a realization and fulfillment of oneself. That's you, again, being exactly who you want to be. You wake up and you're like, I'm exactly where I wanted to be. Marriage has lost its purpose. I mean, it depends. It depends on where you are, what you want for yourself, who you are, what you think the purpose of marriage is. Sorry, y'all. Because some people feel like they get exactly what they want out of marriage. But from my understanding, marriage was started with the intentions of passing on property, finances, and knowing who the father of children are. So nowadays, people don't be having that to pass on. They don't have property all the time. They don't have, you know. Anywho, the family is a pillar of civilization. Yeah, I'm starting to realize that for myself. So again, here's a couple of other people who have been deemed self-actualized. Harriet Tubman, George Washington Carver. That's the black man who made peanut butter. Jane Addams. I don't really know who that is. Spinoza. I don't know who that is. William James, Eleanor Roosevelt. Those are some more people who have been deemed to be self-actualized. So you don't have to just be married to self-actualize. Any individual can do that. That was definitely the original intention of it. Waiting, you said, I think marriage has become taboo. Is more of contract rather than actually uniting two people. And you said marriage is over realistically. Naji, you don't respect marriage. Don't blame the loss of purpose on marriage. Blame self for not understanding what marriage means. Marriage was implemented so women have the property to her name. Well, typically it's men, so not typically women. This is why I don't believe in contract marriage. It's more dating. Oh, that's what you mean when you say that down better? Are you just saying that more people are not getting married? Like, is that what you mean? You said marriage is like an insurance policy. Never thought about that. What's the difference between marriage and wedding? Wedding is the ritual that unites. Like, it. How do you even describe a ritual at this point? Marriage is a ritual. I mean, wedding is a ritual. Marriage is the actual act of two people being signed on a contract. Marriage is contract. You said both. If anybody else can just explain to Firefly in a better way than I could, please do. Costs a lot for a child. So down, are you saying that because of today's modern dating and the cost of living, that marriage is not the same as it used to be? Craig said marriage is a business. Ian said a wedding is commitment by two hearts. Moving forward said now marriage means nothing. People are getting married to everything, ain't they? And then they complained 10 years later when they saw all the behavior before they got married. Samuel said, Wade said wedding is a ceremony that takes place that one day. Okay. Firefly said, I understand. Okay. So some evidence that I found. So network synthesizing self-determination theory shows acting autonomously with a romantic person predicts higher relationship quality. So basically what that means is two people who are autonomous, they are who they are. They make their own decisions about life, what they want for themselves. They are happier in a relationship compared to someone who may be codependent. So openness partly mediates this pathway. So basically, two people who are open to communicate who they are and what they want for themselves have a better chance of being happier in relationships compared to two people who are not honest about who they are and what they want for themselves. It makes sense and to say duh, but in all reality, a lot of couples have a fear of communicating who they are and what they want. In a way, it's a form of codependency and a need for some form of validation, emotional validation, in some form, some way. And it does not support them long term, but in that moment, they feel safe not being fully open. You wouldn't want your child to go through life. I hear a lot of people say that. But sometimes I feel like if I had a child, I mean, shoot, I've experienced so many things. What worse could happen? They could only experience the best of life, because for me as an individual person, I've grown from what I've known, and I know what it looks like to be on a lower end of life. So to look up and be like, look how much life got better, and I know that life could be so much more better. Why not introduce somebody to this life when I'm at a stable point? That's how I be thinking though about children. Not right now though. Ooh, not right now. But when I'm at a stable point, when I'm at a point where I have nothing else to do in my life but to have a child. We'll see if we ever get there. So being autonomous creates a healthier attachment, and being autonomous decreases insecure attachment styles. So many people are so insecure about life, about being in, having bonds with people, friends, family, and in marriage. Oh, and in marriage. So it's like, if you just be yourself and you make your own decisions about what you want and stop thinking about your life in regards to other people, then you'll be happier, right? And that doesn't mean that you're selfish, because there's a difference between selfishness and being autonomous, okay? So another thing that was noted is the last 2 decades review. Partners support growth when the relationship offers novelty, learning, perspective taking, self-expansion, and that predicts satisfaction in commitment. So, you with somebody, you're married. Just because you are two autonomous beings does not mean that life needs to be stagnant and y'all don't need to do nothing with y'all's life. You still need to include new things in your life, new experiences, new tastes, new sounds, new environments. You still need to take time to really understand the other person's perspective, because just because you're married to somebody does not mean that you're going to always know exactly what they're doing and what they're thinking. Sometimes you really do have to take a time. Novelty is just new things that are new. So sometimes you really have to take time to look at that other person's point of view and say, well, where are they coming from? Because like I always say, 2 people can look up at the sky and one person can say it's blue and the other person can say it's green. But you may not realize that this other person is colorblind. I don't know. You never know what's going on with these other people. So you really do have to get, you really have to communicate like hella times so you can understand somebody, and never just think that you understand them the first time. And so when people know who they are, conflict is less corrosive. So that means it's less damning. It's not going to hurt you as much when you have conflict. When identity is diffuse, conflict harms satisfaction more. So basically, when you know who you are, just because you have conflict is not going to hurt you. Because at the end of the day, you have your own foundation, and your foundation is not going to crumble just because you have conflict with somebody else. That example of somebody's foundation crumbling. You got a man. Hopefully y'all don't. You got a man who you let live in your house. He ain't got no job. And then y'all get into it and you kick him out. Now his whole world may come to crumbling. His whole identity, life, how he sees you, how he views you is going to crumble, because now, boom, I was dependent on you. I'm not who I want to be without you. You got a woman. What's a good example? You have a woman who you're always complimenting your woman, and she don't know that she's pretty because you always validating her. And then y'all have conflict and you're not giving her that same response and compliments. And now her whole world is just going downhill because she's not being validated by you. That is the importance of being autonomous, self-actualizing, self-aware of who you are, and validating your own self and creating your own foundation. Because if you don't, you're literally going to have your world crumbling because of something else in somebody else's life. So your stable self is going to have autonomy, is going to have clarity of self and goals and environment, and it's going to have growth, right? That's going to be your most stable self. And that's associated with having better relationships, solid foundation. Exactly. So a lot of times, one of the big issues that I note while doing this research is that married women typically are more outspoken about losing themselves in marriage. We got 70 votes, y'all. What's going on? 70 votes. Okay, so now most of the people now said no. So most people said no. They are not afraid of losing themselves in marriage. That's good. 34% said I don't know, and majority other people, 20% said yes. So I don't know. I think that's pretty good. You know, honestly, I think that's a pretty good little number. So at least it's not majority people saying yes. So I think that's really good. So back to what I was saying. A lot of women seem to lose themselves in motherhood and lose themselves in marriage. So y'all know I'm Meiana. Hey y'all. If y'all first time being here, hey y'all. I'm Meiana. I'm Meiana first. I am Meiana first. Really, before I'm Meiana, I'm a human being. Before I am Meiana, I am a human being with needs that need to be met. And then I am Meiana. And Meiana has desires in life to experience certain experiences. And then once I'm Meiana, now we're thinking hypothetically, y'all. Y'all remember. Now we thinking hypothetically. Don't get lost. After that, I am a wife. So now I have a husband who now I have to stay in communication with about Meiana and what's going on with Meiana. And then on top of that, I have a child who now needs Meiana to live and thrive. Okay? So that is the natural order. But a lot of women do this. They see, I am a mother. I am a wife. I am Meiana. I am a human. They completely get it backwards. They completely get it backwards. Right? And then when you get your zone of identity, which I've never heard this before, but I'm making it up right now. Let's look to see if it's a real thing. Zone of identity. No, I don't see it as a real thing. So if you hear this ever in y'all's life, they stole it from me. So when people have their zone of identity incorrect and backwards, it creates disruption in their ability to self-actualize. Okay? So make sure you have your zone of identity correct. Interesting how the female mind thinks. You just think that it's a woman who can think like this? I mean, technically, women are the original beings, and men are the mutation of a woman, because men are men are originally female first, and then through mutation, they become men. So it makes sense. All mutation does disrupt some things. Mutation can disrupt thinking patterns. So it makes sense that a man cannot. Oh, okay, look, Bruce, you was about to get me on a whole little tangent. You was about to get me on a tangent, Bruce. Anywho, let me finish it though. It makes sense if a man could not match the thoughts and thinking skills of a woman. So, if y'all want to know a fun fact, that is one of the fun facts is that if you see most genetic mutations and like diseases and stuff that occur genetically, boys have it more often than women. So you can understand why when you start realizing that, you know, it's a lot of problems going on in the male society, unfortunately. So a 2024 peer-reviewed study showed persistent slower progression and lower pay for mothers. So y'all know how we always talk, well, we don't always talk about it, but we talked about previously how men who are married oftentimes make more money, right? Hey, Josiah. Want to answer? Yeah, Josiah, I don't want to get off topic today because people get off topic with that topic. And maybe in a future video, or you know what you can do, Josiah? Go to my post, my community tab. I have an ask me anything question. You can ask me that question and I'll answer it in a video for you. So, oftentimes women who end up having babies, they talk about not being able to pursue the career as they wanted to. Women who are married and who have children oftentimes talk about not being able to pursue their careers in the way that they wish to have done it. And that's the reason why some people feel like they have not became who they wanted to be in this lifetime, because they've had children, because they've had to take off of work, because, you know, kids get sick. Y'all don't ever want to work out of school during sick season, man. I tell y'all, as myself, I always feel like I'm sick sometimes because I work around children. And children have, so, like, I've had to go through at least 2 or 3 different phases of sicknesses. At one point, just a month ago, at one of my jobs, it was 3 different illnesses going around the school at one time. Stomach virus, hand, foot, and mouth disease, regular colds. When I tell y'all, it gets crazy. And then I just saw it was cold today. I seen kids' nose running today, y'all. When I tell y'all, kids get sick. So now you a mom, and now you got to take care of a child when they sick. And then on top of that, you might get sick too. And on top of that, let's say you are in a marriage where your partner wants you to work. Sounds like slavery. But all those things are happening. You got a sick kid, you sick, you got to go to work because you and your partner not going to be able to pay bills because you not bringing in no income. So now how can you focus on yourself and make sure that you get your needs met? How do you do that, right? And your income is really not as beneficial anyway. But that's a whole nother story. So a lot of people personally feel like they lose themselves in that situationship because they're not able to do exactly what they want to do. And I want to go ahead and bring it back so I can remind you guys, we're talking about self-actualization, becoming more of who you want to be in this lifetime in a marriage. And when you think about this, I'm going to give y'all this story once again because I know people come in and out. My example of this is having things realized. So I manifested many things. And that one thing that I manifested that I like to talk about is a job. And the way I manifested it was through affirmations, scripting, and visualization. And so one of the things I used to visualize was being in the cubicle area, and I used to affirm that I would work around greenery, among many other things that I used to affirm and say, right? And I didn't realize it until I was working at the job. Like, it had to be a few months in that I was working there, and I realized I'm exactly where I wanted to be. So that is what it means to be realized. That's what it means to be realized, is to say, I'm exactly where I want to be. I said this for myself. I visualized this for myself. I knew this is what I wanted, and now I have it. So if you're not able to realize things in your life, are you really self-actualizing? Are you really becoming more of who you want to be? Right? Because it has to be a desire first. It has to be a want first. And then things occur for that to come into fruition. So as a partner, as a spouse, you have 2 people who come together, and one person wants to be an astronaut. The other person wants to be a teacher. Are you guys able to self-actualize and become exactly who you want to be in that relationship? Or is one person being a teacher and not wanting their spouse to go to space going to dim another person's lights? Andrew said, no, I need my woman to understand herself and know what she wants and doesn't mind telling me exactly how she wants it. Compromising in a relationship is key. Exactly. Firefly said, I need to brainwash myself. Firefly, you sound pretty smart already. What you brainwashing yourself with? Affirmations? You said that's a fair point. I know some women who have told me that they feel like they had to give up some opportunities or goals after they had kids. Yeah. What about now? What do you really want from this? Exactly. That's a good question to ask. So even for men and self-actualization, a lot of men get stuck in, I just work to pay the bills. You know, I'm just going to work. I'm just paying these bills. That's all I'm doing. Right. Some men get stuck in the mindset of, I'm just a father. You know, I'm just a husband. Right. Yes, Bruce, I agree. Compatible goals. Compatible goals that you can align together and create a larger vision for your whole relationship. Like, babe, how are we gonna take over the world, babe? How are we gonna take over the world, babe? So, a 2025 analysis show aversion to female breadwinning persists culturally and shapes partner choice and stress. Men also get boxed into provider-only identities. So basically, men oftentimes are a little underwhelmed or overwhelmed being with a woman who makes more money than them, right? There's aversion, right? You have an aversion to food. There's certain foods that make your stomach like ugh, like peas for me. I don't eat peas. Make my stomach kind of like ugh. So I have an aversion to it because it turns me off. It makes me feel unwell. Some men have aversion to women being a breadwinner. And it also takes away the identity of who they saw themselves in a relationship. That's an insecurity within. When you say within, are you saying like it's natural for every man, or are you just saying like what you mean? What you mean? So when that person's identity is pay bills only, their purpose in life narrows. So they're not able to self-actualize because now they're thinking about I'm only here to do this. Their zone of identity, y'all. I'm a psychologist, y'all, at this point. I'm not a psychologist. Don't. But put me in the psychology books. Put me in the psychology books. I created a new term. Don't steal it, y'all. Y'all know the people be out there stealing. The zone of identity is boxed in. I'm going to create a picture, y'all. I'm going to have to create a picture to narrate this. Now, you cannot see yourself outside of anything that has to do with paying bills. Studies linking autonomy needs satisfaction with relationship qualities suggest that expanding man's self-definition beyond provider improves both well-being and partnership. So as a man, you know, you may lose yourself in fatherhood, right? That could be something that happens. But sometimes you could just lose yourself if you are the breadwinner and you are the provider of your home. You could lose yourself in this is all I'm doing. So make sure that you have more to who you are than what you do, right? Sometimes it's I am first before I do. So I am someone who enjoys skating, someone who enjoys writing, drawing, you know, focus on those things so that you will focus on your leisurely activities. She said that's more money for me. I'm dead. So another thing, remember that just because you're autonomous being does not mean you're a selfish being, right? Autonomy does not mean selfish. And I think a lot of people get lost in me, right? And they're no longer able to compromise because it's not always about, how can I describe this? It's not always about how things happen. It's more about what you want to feel in your life, right? And oftentimes people want to feel proud of themselves. They want to feel realized. They want to feel confident. And just because you want to feel these things does not mean that you are an astronaut, right? You can feel those same things doing something else. Now, unless being an astronaut was a lifelong dream, that's a different thing. But if it's just something that you've been interested in, you can always find another way to realize those emotions that you're seeking and that you're trying to manifest. So, you know, autonomy means self-endorsed choices. And what that means is that you're choosing to do this. Nobody else is making you do this. There's not a company forcing you to do it. There's not a spouse who's forcing you to do this. It's not a mentor who's forcing you to do this. These are things that you want to do in your life. That's what makes you autonomous. So if you are somebody who is not doing what you want to do, maybe you're doing with your mother or your father or your grandfather, your grandmother or your aunt or your uncle or your family wanted you to do. That's how you're going to realize if you're autonomous or not. Who am I doing this for? Am I doing this because I want to do it? Or am I doing it because somebody else wants me to do it? So, you know, when people have that ability to have self-endorsed choices, It predicts closeness because people show up willingly, right? You want people to be around you because they know that they're around you. Back to our image. We want things to create a healthy system. We don't want to pair up. We don't want the heart cell to pair up with a brain cell and create confusion and chaos. That's devil mentality. We want cohesiveness. We want two heart cells to come together to create a heart organ. There's going to be more than two cells, but y'all get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. So self-expansion in couples is linked to greater commitment when growth is mutual and non-competitive. So you need people you need a girl who's not going to be jealous of the fact that you're growing because she's growing too. Note that. They are growing alongside as you. So there's no reason to be jealous when it's two people becoming realized in a relationship. There you go. So your growth is not going to be unstable because it's two people who are realized of who and what they want to be in this lifetime. And that's why communication is so important. That's why when two cells come together, are you a heart cell? Are you a heart cell? Well, no, I'm not a heart cell. I'm a nerve cell. Well, I want to be a heart cell and I want to grow the community of the heart. So I'm not going to communicate with you anymore. I'm actually going to leave and go find a heart cell. It's the same thing that you need to do for yourself. You need to find someone who has the same goals as you so y'all can pair up and fall in the right community so that y'all can create a healthy structure for this lifetime. Healthy foundations. So, how are we going to do that? We need to protect ourselves. If you have not watched the leisure videos, I have so many. Go watch the leisure videos because leisure time is what is important. Transition with leisure, y'all. Transition with leisure. Leisure time is so important because what does leisure time do? Leisure time helps you become more aware of who you are. It helps you get into a flow state. It helps you think better, sleep better, live better, right? So you need to focus on your hobbies. You need to do more hobby-like activities in your free time so that you can become more of who you want to be. Build skills, build activity, build relationships, social experiences. That's what you need to be doing. So other things that you can do to protect your autonomy is time blocks for personal projects, right? Take a time for yourself. You need mutual permission for individual goals. So, communicating about what your goals are and being like, okay, you good with this, babe? Like, this is what I'm about to do. Typically, if your goals are not going to harm your relationship or others, your person should be okay with you doing that. Energy doesn't lie. Protecting our energy. Okay, period. So these are going to be things that is going to be linked to y'all having an open communication, being open in the relationship, and having a higher relationship satisfaction in your spousal relationships. Set time aside and commit to it. So other things you can do is learn new skills, go to new places in partnership. This is what I'm talking about, not just individually, in partnership, in spousal relationships. Have joint challenges. Okay, 30 days. We're not going to eat any sugar. We're going to fast for a week. We're going to walk every day for a month. Those are joint challenges. We're going to take 20 minutes aside every morning to do meditating together or breathing together. We know we like the breathing together. So, these are some of the things that you can do deliberately to expand in a union. Another thing, as we know, identity shifts all the time. And a lot of the times outside of communication, identity shifts disrupts the foundations of spousal relationships. Two people who are married, if you go through identity shifts, whether it's through job change, financial change, hormonal changes, it can seriously disrupt the foundation of an individual's marriage. So making sure that you have time to go back through and be like, well, who are you at this very moment of your life? You're probably not who you were a year ago. Who are you? What do you want for yourself? reflect for yourself and come into partnership or spousal partnership and reflect with your spouse, because that's going to decrease the what's the word, the risk of conflict. Is that a right word to say? Is that a right way to say it? Risk of conflict, the opportunity for conflict. I don't know. Well, when you guys do identity checks in your relationships, it's going to decrease the risk of conflict. There we go. And, you know, like I was telling you guys in the other video previously, we were talking about wanting to make sure that we have things regulated just in case, because we know stress and bad situations can happen regardless. So regulating systems of plan A, plan B, plan C. A hurricane is coming. Well, we know we already created a whole drainage system for moments like this so our city doesn't overflood, right? So that's the same way of doing periodic identity checks, is saying, hey, we already have this set up to communicate about this every now and again, maybe every 6 months, every year. So we know, who are you in this moment? So we know if something happens, well, me and my partner been peep game about what's going on. So we ain't got to really worry about what's happening. Y'all know? So other thing is advocate or plan around motherhood. Since motherhood is something that takes away a lot of women's identity, we don't want people to be penalized for doing things that they want to do in this lifetime. She wants to be a mother, hopefully. Hopefully. She wants to be a mother. So we need to make sure that when she is having a child, or if y'all having unprotected sexual activity, y'all should already be planning around, well, if you are to get pregnant, what are we going to do? Are you going to start working? Who's going to take care of the baby? You know? These are things that I want you guys to think about if you plan on being married, or if you are married and you want to have children. What's going to happen to my wife so that she does not lose herself in motherhood? Oftentimes for me, I think that that includes you making sure that you have money set aside for your wife to afford the things that she needs: hair, nails, all of her needs, before and after motherhood. And then make sure as a man, how you see yourself, your role and your identity is able to fluctuate. It's not a solid, I am a provider, I am a father, I'm a worker. Make sure that your role is diversified, just like you want your investments to be diversified. Because what happens when you invest all your money into one thing, y'all? You lose out on that one thing and it go all downhill. So invest your identity in multiple ways. You're not just a provider. You're a caregiver. You are a community leader. You are an artist. You are whatever you want to be, you know. Make sure you have activities that make you feel like you are who you are. Again, if you haven't watched the leisure videos, go back and watch them. They're very important. So Swiss Army knife? Oh, okay. So Swiss Army knife, what he's trying to say, if y'all don't get it, is that it has many uses. But you know, that just reminded me of Rico. Y'all be watching, what's my guy's name? I Will Teach You to Be Rich. What's his name? Because he literally had a whole conversation about this. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but I remember him talking about this. Because a man was talking. A man was talking and he compared himself to like a Swiss Army knife, I think. And he had said something about, so do you view yourself as a tool? And I like him because he talks about mindset around money too. If I can find this conversation, I'm gonna talk to you about it a different day. I don't know if I can today. Hey Tab, welcome back to the live. Welcome back to the live. But I remember him literally having this conversation because I feel like I was driving when I was listening to it. So yeah, even within that whole conversation with the Swiss Army knife, it shows a little bit more of, well, how do you view yourself, you know? Why not, if you don't mind me asking? Why not? What you mean? What you mean, friend? Look, I'm really over here trying to find it. I don't think he has it written out anywhere. And he has so many episodes. Honestly, I don't even know what conversation I said. Are you talking about the Swiss Army knife? Because if you're talking about that, it's just because I don't really know how to... I don't remember exactly what he said. Rico Master, no. It's okay. Thank you. Because y'all know, once my mind gets on a different track, I don't remember anything I just said prior to that. I need like a full sentence to reiterate what just happened. For me to remember what's going on. But oh my God, did I just find it? ChatGPT for the win. Please tell me I just found this. Please. Rico said we'll dig into it another day. I think I found it, y'all. Please tell me. Okay, so maybe I don't know. Well, you can see it right here, y'all. Okay, so he said in this episode we uncover a couple of things. It's a lot of things they uncover. I remember this episode. But he said why Michael's Swiss Army knife mentality is sabotaging their relationship. Because the guy, I think she was making a lot more money. I can't remember exactly what was going on. But I remember he was just like, well, I'm just a tool. Oh, here it is. He said, I feel like a Swiss Army knife to be put to use in whatever's needed for the family. Whatever role that can look like, I can morph and be utilized in multifaceted different ways. And Remy said, how does it feel that you are a tool? Shout out to Remy. If y'all don't watch his show, y'all need to watch his show. I haven't watched it in a while, but I remember this episode for sure. He said, how does it feel that you are a tool? He said, Michael said, actually, it feels good to be needed. Is he on? Yeah, he on YouTube. He has podcasts. He had a lot of stuff on everything. He even has a Netflix show. Remy said, I like that. It's an interesting metaphor. I like the value you said that you are wanted. You are needed. I like that. Personally, I don't think I would want to be seen as a tool that is picked up when it is needed. And then, all right, nice to see you, Swiss Army knife. Throw them in the drawer and shut the drawer for another month and a half. You know what? Maybe we can actually watch the episode real quick. I can show you guys what's going on because what the fuck? I don't want to read all that. 25. Okay. Let's see. Y'all ready? Show y'all little remeats. I cannot wait till I get something so I can start posting the videos on the screen as I talk. WTF. I'm so tired of it. Showing y'all. I can't play the full. Y'all got me messed up. Make this a full screen right now. You said that sums up a meaning of a man? Okay. I'm going to show y'all the video.
No. Thank you. Keeping my statistics running. 50% of people I speak to don't know their own household income. In your case, 0% know it. Why am I seeing two faces of complete doubt?
Well, it's not surprising for me only because of knowing the new job is now added into that versus what it used to be as of February of this year.
To this point, maybe because it's new. So we haven't seen the fruits of that yet. We might be a month or two in. But in my mind, it's way less than that.
Oh, wow. In your mind.
Yes.
Did you ever celebrate when, Michael, you got the pay increase?
No.
No. Just another day, huh?
Yes.
That's a problem.
Yes.
When you first reached out to us, Michael, you were earning roughly $60,000.
Correct.
And now you're earning $95,000.
Correct.
You had like a 50% increase in salary.
Correct.
What happened?
The new job that I started in March is salary. So that allows me to know at least twice a month what my net pay will be, in addition to any hours or extra hours that I work with the airline.
This 95K number is fresh to me. Like, I'm hearing it for the first time live. That 95K is your new annual salary. I thought it was more around 65 to 75.
Did you all never talk about how much the salary increase was going to be?
No, simple answer.
Lack
no.
of communication.
Okay. Why not?
The reason we didn't talk about the salary increase, because to me it was almost a swap. At the airline I could have made 60,000, but the new job is salary 60,000, and then anything I work in addition to the airport can range from.
What's happening right now? You're using a range, and it's actually not serving you at all because you have this super confusing thing. You actually just skipped over the most important part of this, which is telling my wife I got a 50% increase in pay. That's like the only thing that matters out of all of this, but you skipped over it because you overwhelmed yourself with ranges and details. How does that strike you?
Where is the transcript? Because they lying.
I guess because, like you said, I'm always just focused on what's the next. Can't celebrate being on a plateau or a mountaintop. You gotta still know. I feel like it's still more of a climb to go.
Sorry, y'all.
What is your role in this relationship, Michael?
Here we go.
I feel like a Swiss Army knife.
There we go.
To be put to use on whatever's needed for the family.
Here we go, y'all.
I
Sorry.
feel like it's still more of a climb to go.
What is your role in this relationship, Michael?
I feel like it's still more of a climb to go.
What is your role in this relationship, Michael?
I feel like a Swiss Army knife to be put to use on whatever's needed for the family. Mm-hmm. Whatever role that can look like, I can morph and be utilized in multifaceted different ways.
And how does it feel that you are a tool?
Actually, it feels good to be needed.
I like that. It's kind of an interesting metaphor. I like the value you said, that you are wanted, you are needed. I like that. Personally, I don't think I would want to be seen as a tool that is picked up when it's needed. And then, all right, nice to see you, Swiss Army knife. Throw them in the drawer and shut the drawer for another month and a half. The reason that Michael didn't bring up this massive salary change is exactly what we are exploring right now, because of the way that he sees himself. So if you see yourself as a tool, then the implication is you can, number one, never zoom up to see the full picture of what's going on because you live in the weeds. And number two, it's actually not fun. You're just a tool that gets used to advance the family to the next thing. Do, action, tactical, and then you die. Kind of a dark vision, but actually one that a lot of men actually embrace. It's quite appealing because as men, we see other men doing it. And men will even tell each other to say, like, you don't complain, you just get to work. You have a family, your job's to protect your family and provide for your family. Right? We've all heard that in some way, Michael, from whether it be a movie, a parent, relative, whatever. And I don't mind providing for a family. I don't mind protecting it. I like that. That's great. But I also think there's got to be more to it. And I think that this example is a perfect example of you being so in the weeds that you're actually missing the big picture.
Okay, we're going to end it right there. And yes, Rico, communication. This episode was so crazy because I think when they first got together, she was making more money than him. And they got married really quickly. If I'm remembering this correctly, they got married really quickly. He was working like 3-4 jobs. And he still was not making as much money as she made. He still was not making as much money as she made. Because I think she was like a counselor or something like that. So all he was doing was focusing on a goal and trying to get his goal met, but he wasn't thinking about it like the big picture. He was just like, well, I just need to do this, so I'm gonna do this, right? And he was like literally working 3 or 4 jobs. It was crazy. They don't seem happy together. Yeah, I don't think they were happy. Like, let me see what the comments were saying, because you know the comments. Because the title of this video is "I Carry the Baby, the Bills, and the Stress," and obviously that was a woman. Okay, so somebody said financial infidelity. He gets a raise of 50% and doesn't ring it to his wife attention. He's putting 16% away in his retirement plan, yet wifey puts in 3%. He is quietly celebrating his wins while she's paying the bills and thinks they have no money. I don't respect him at all. Somebody said, Ramit, you are too easy on these men. This woman is carrying everything. He's hiding money. Somebody said, may this love never find me. Somebody else said he didn't tell her about his raise because he didn't want to share his money. Yikes. I would be pissed off too if my husband was doing that and she was working hella hard. Obviously, though, that's why you don't marry a man at his lowest point. You gotta let him become his best self and become realized. Let a man become realized. But then they be like, well, you wasn't down with me at the dumps. But it's like, babe, how am I supposed to be down with you at the lowest form of yourself and you're not realized? I don't know. So Andrew said that relationship is doomed. How they not know what the income coming in is crazy. But really, I was just showing you that because the Swiss Army knife comparison was the first thing that I thought about. And obviously, y'all are not the only man who think I'm a Swiss Army knife. But like Ramit was saying, that mindset could be unsupportive. It can become a limiting belief for you if you only see yourself as a tool that is used and then put back away. Because we have to remember, we use metaphors in a way, but if we attach ourselves to certain metaphors and we see ourselves like that, we can't always just take the good and leave the bad. We will sometimes take the bad subconsciously and implement that in our life. So I'm not saying to change that, but I'm just saying think about it for yourself. And, you know, think about what possible bad aspects of this comparison could I be unintentionally implementing in my life as a man. And like I was saying, as a man, one of the things that men need to do in marriage is differentiate their role in marriage, who they are in the interest in the activities and the things that life demands of them. Is not just being a provider and doing everything for the family. Sometimes men have to do things for themselves. Side note, I was about to say go golfing, but I was just watching a TikTok earlier about how people who live on a golf court have been talking about how they know loved ones or themselves being on a golf court now have Parkinson's disease. And if y'all don't know what Parkinson's disease is, look it up. It's not something that you want. So be careful on them golf courts. So okay. So that was most of all I wanted to talk about with this topic. Again, with this, we have to remember I can't talk about everything, but I can start the topic and you can finish thinking about it on your own. So I really wanted to leave this topic with this little checklist. So if you guys are going through a marriage, you want to get married, you are married, and you need to know is my partner, is my spouse and I self-actualized in this spousal relationship, or is it something else? Okay. How do you know you live on a golf course? Andrew, I didn't know you lived on a golf course. I'm just telling you what I watched the video this morning. Somebody said people who live on a golf course, they have been talking about Parkinson's. And then somebody in the comments said, I live near a golf course. The man who sold me the house had Parkinson's. I said, oh no. Oh my God. What is that? No, I'm playing. Parkinson's is a true disease that, you know, y'all want to be wary and be careful of. But I think it's one of the things that they spray on a golf course which causes it. So I don't know. So let me give y'all a little quick test to know. So let's think about this. This is for I want you to ask yourself this first. And yes or no. You can type it in the chat, but it's going to be 5 questions, okay? Yes or no. Do you feel anxious when your partner is upset with you? Do you feel anxious when your partner is upset with you? Okay, that's question number 1. Second question. Do you change opinions or goals to avoid conflict? That's question number 2. Yes or no? Number 3. Do you overgive and feel guilty resting or saying no? Yes or no? Do you overgive and feel guilty resting or saying no? Number 4. Do you define your worth by being needed? Do you define your worth by being needed? Yes or no? And number 5 for this one. Do you fear abandonment more than unhappiness? So that means you rather be unhappy than be alone. Okay, so that's for the first one. Tally it up. Is it more yeses or more nos? So I'll tell you which one is which when we get done. Okay? He said absolutely not. So here's the second one. This is 5 questions as well. Can you love without losing your individuality? Yes or no? So number 1 is, can you love without losing your individuality? The second one is, can you take responsibility for your emotions and not your partner's? So when your partner has emotions, you can be there to experience and witness it, but you realize you're not responsible for their emotions and helping them regulate it. Number 3, do you have personal goals and interests outside the relationship? Yes or no? Do you have personal goals and interests outside of being in this marriage or relationship with this individual? Number 4 is, can you communicate boundaries calmly and consistently? Consistently. That means more than once. Sometimes people need a reminder. So it's not like you say don't do it this time, and then the next time they do it, you just like whatever. You consistently set a boundary. And then number 5, you see your partner as a mirror for your growth, not your source of completion. So you guys are growing together, but just because they're in your life, that does not make them the end all be all to who you are as an individual. So for the first quiz, that was our codependent quiz. If you said more than 2 yeses, think about your life. Think about it. So that first one was codependent. The second one was self-actualized quiz. So if you said multiple yeses, let's say 3, for both of them, 3 or more yeses, which one was a higher? Which one was higher for you, codependent or self-actualized? Yep. So that's the quiz for today. What do y'all think about the conversation, y'all? Self-actualization for you? Okay, period. Self-actualized relationships. Codependent, of course. Good topic. Thank you, Bruce. Andrew, you got to work on that. Let me give you the definition of codependent. Characterized by excessive emotional or psychological reliance on a partner, typically one who requires support on account of illness or addiction. A person with excessive emotional or psychological reliance on a partner. So, if you codependent, you have an excessive amount of reliance on someone else to be who you are and to live your life. How do you stop being codependent? Google says on willingway.com, start being honest with yourself and your partner. Doing things that we do not want to do only wastes our time and energy. But it also brings on resentment. 2, stop negative thinking. 3, don't take things personally. I know when I was younger, one of the biggest things that I learned in my first relationship was that I took things personally. Because I did. Why are you breathing at me like that? You know? Why do you want to go to bed? You don't want to eat, you don't want to take a bite of my cupcake? And I made this cupcake? Okay. You allergic to icing and you don't want to eat this cupcake? So you must not like me. Nah, I'm playing. What you mean, Andrew? A day before whose birthday? Your mom's birthday? What does that have to do with codependency, though? Consider counseling if you are codependent. And establish boundaries if you are codependent. But how do you establish boundaries if you do not know yourself? Leisure time. How to establish boundaries. Identify your needs. Remember, there's a difference between needs and wants. The things you need keep you alive and happy and thriving. So you need things to be who you are. Who do you want to be? Oftentimes we want to be at peace. I need space when my cat wants to be in my face and be rubbed when I just came home and all I want to do is take a mental break to close my eyes and my cat just says meow, meow. Or he says meow, meow in the morning because he wants me to get up and open the door so he can go outside. But you're not going outside today. Right, Red? Come here, son. Do you want a hug? No, he's sleeping, y'all. So I have to create boundaries and kick him out the room and close the door. That's my boundary. Get out of here, please, before I go crazy. So I don't have any children because, oh my God, a cat is enough. Communicate your boundaries clearly with I statements. I don't like you breathing in my face. Move. And stay consistent in enforcing your boundaries. So, that's what we got to do. Are you excited to be self-actualized people? Andrew, one characteristic of my people is the use of sources, what they call them, the use of vices. My people will use so many vices on this channel. He can't get mad. Yeah. So we have 76 votes today, which is a good little turnout. 20% said yes. 46% said no to are you afraid of losing yourself in marriage? And 34% said I don't know. So the 20% who said yes about them being afraid to lose themselves in marriage, that means that there's no personal boundaries. There's a lack of self-awareness of who you are and what you want to be. There is either a lack of confidence in realization, so you have not seen that you have accomplished who you wanted to be in the past, or you just don't have boundaries and you don't know how to communicate them. You don't know how to communicate who you are. You don't know how to communicate your boundaries consistently. So those are good 4 things to start with if you said yes to being afraid to losing yourself in marriage. Because you are an individual being, and in order for this life to be happy for you and for the people around you, you have to be self-actualized. So that's all I have for you guys today. Go ahead and end the poll. You said you lost yourself and found yourself again, getting rid of the vices and becoming my best version currently. I love that for you. I love that. Make sure y'all give me some hearts in the chat. I'm giving myself some hearts because I love myself. Thanks. And I'm going to comment because now I'm going to start commenting on my YouTube from my computer. Hey, y'all. Y'all see me comment in the chat? So y'all, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys got a lot out of the conversation. He said I'm silly. I can't help it. What? I cannot help it. But I will see you guys Friday. I don't know what topic we're to do, because I know on Fridays it's not a lot of people who come in the chat as much as on Sundays and Mondays. So I don't want to do a topic like money yet. So I may save money topic for Sunday or next Monday. So I'm gonna have to figure out which one we'll do Friday. It will still be interesting, but I'm waiting to do the money topic in marriage. Because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to title it like 50-50. Is 50-50 the best way to go? Y'all know 50-50 always get the people coming out to see what's going on. Who's talking about 50-50? So, good night, Rico. Have a wonderful evening. This has been a wonderful, man. I'm really gaining a sense of clarity. I have some work on myself. Thank you. You're so welcome. Yes, I've been really working on my elevator speech, y'all. So I've been really talking about what am I really providing for you guys, you know, coming on here. Hey, Kiefer, welcome to the live, baby. We about to end the live, baby. So I've been working on this statement. Hello, everybody. My name is Meiana the Sage, and I support men and women who often feel detached, dissociated, and overwhelmed, overworked to becoming more prosperous and connect to themselves. We're working on it, smoothing it out. Eventually, it will be consistent, and I'll feel really confident saying it. But I am really confident in saying I'm supporting individuals in a prosperity mindset. So, okay. I'm glad you was able to swim and have a good night, y'all. So I'll see you guys Friday. I love you guys so much. Bye, y'all.